Good afternoon. Welcome to the afternoon experiment. My name is Emanuel Livingston. I am with you probably for about an hour, if an hour. I'm sorry, y'all. It's, for those of you who don't know, I'm working on a show that we'll be shooting in Baltimore on June 7th, and that means basically we got 2 weeks. I'll be out of town next week, but this week is just so crammed with stuff to do, and I've been working on all of this stuff, and I'm getting emails that I have to respond to really soon, really soon. So this might be my last day for the week, but I'm not sure. It all depends on how things go. I'm more than sure Friday won't happen. I'm more than sure. So I'm counting Friday as no. And like I said, today I might be here with y'all for an hour. I don't know about the rest of the week. So kind of don't expect me to be here. And then if I show up, then yay. But it's a good chance that it won't happen. It's a good chance that it won't happen. And as a matter of fact, hold up, because I have to respond to this one. All right, so yeah. So it is what it's going to be. And then just out of nowhere, I got like 3 shirt orders that people want by the end of the week. Because I was like, okay, I could do that. And then I could come and I could, try to get this in and, maybe a little later. But later is going to be taken with people wanting shirts. It's a good problem to have. People want you to work for them and pay you to do it. It's a good problem to have. So how's everybody's day? It is cold. I'm cold. Just outside, cold. Yesterday was sunny, but it was still cold. I know I'm complaining, but I won't be one of them people complaining about the heat. When y'all like, ooh, it's 105 degrees, I'll be like, ooh, it's 105 degrees finally. So, yeah, man, I'm ready for the summer weather to get here. But let me say hello to everybody who said hello to me. I feel like I started the show. I wasn't complaining. I was just kind of updating y'all to let y'all know what's going on. Lewis Talbert. Good afternoon, Lewis. Robert Willis in the house. Good afternoon, Robert Willis. And Erica Hummins out there representing Reading. Good afternoon. All 3 of those people are checking us out on YouTube. It seems like YouTube gets the feed first and then Facebook. I don't make it that way. It's just the way it is. So good afternoon. Anthony Prosser in the house. Anthony Prosser in the house. He's first on Facebook. And then, of course, the angel herself, Dina Johnson in the house, rounding out the top 5 and those 2 are on Facebook. Good afternoon to you guys. Good afternoon. I appreciate y'all sharing a little bit of time with me. Marie Smith out there in North College Hill, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Sierra Brooks says she's first. She's representing Boston. Good afternoon, Sierra. Melissa Lovett. She says, good afternoon. She made it. All right. You made it. You can't beat that. Dina wanted y'all to know she's representing Walnut Hills. Andrea Bustle in the house out there in Gulf Manor. Good afternoon, Andrea. Jerica Vaughn. Good afternoon, Jericho. We got Steban Speed in the house. He's representing Westwood. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Steban. Let me see. Danny B. Dozier out there in Westwood. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Let's see. Terry Anderson representing downtown. Good afternoon. Got Twin in the house. Twin in the house. Good afternoon, Twin. Let me see. Sierra said, I missed it. When should we start expecting you to be absent? Really, tomorrow. I might be here tomorrow if everything work out that way. I have no intention on not being here, but again, well, you know, Sierra, got a show coming up and you got stuff to do. So I'll do my best, though, for real. I'll do my best to be here. DeAndre Crosby, good afternoon. Got Brian Taylor in the house. He says, Glendale. Okay. Good afternoon. Regina Denson Griffin out there in Madisonville. Good afternoon. Sierra says it's 82 here. It is cold. What is the temperature? It's like if it's in the 70s, I'm shocked. What is the temperature? Oh, 72, but it's misty. It's misty. Because what's happening out there ain't even, I wouldn't consider it drizzle. It's just a mist falling. I don't know why this meant mist. Janice Robinson in the house. Good afternoon, my favorite. Janice Robertson. I say Robinson, I think. Robertson in the house. Good afternoon. Got Deborah Simmons in the house. Hello, Deborah Simmons. Thank you for checking us out. Victoria Smith. Hello. Hello. Let me see. Lamont Jones says, Grand Day, powerful, royal people representing Westwood. Good afternoon. Brenda Burt, she says, good afternoon, all. All right, that includes me. Al Johnson, representing Butler County, Ohio. All right, good afternoon. Valerie Davis also says, Grand Day, powerful, royal people, representing Green Township. All right. Is Lamont and Valerie the same person? I don't think so, but you know, I never know. Randall Wilson, the incomparable Mr. Funky in the house. All right, well, thank you for checking out the show. James, because I don't think I've seen you on here before, so I appreciate you checking us out. James Benta in the house out there in Washington, right? I don't remember what city, though. Fame, representing Gross Beezy. Good afternoon. We got Mary Birch Lavender in the house out there in White Oak. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Kim Moore Eberhart in Bond Hill. Good afternoon. Let me see. Oh, it was a Charlie Murphy reference. I missed it. I'm sorry. Victoria Smith. She says, it's cold. The heat is on. Yeah, it's cold. I don't like this. Albert Caldwell, good afternoon. We got Drea in the house from Sycamore Township. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. LaDonna Howard. All right. On her way to Western Hills. Tanika out there in Orlando, Florida. Good afternoon, LaDonna and Tanika. Shahira. Bond Hill. Bond Hill in the house. Shahira. Wasn't sure I'd come on today. Look, I try. Let me see. Pamela Kinney out there in North Avondale. And that wraps it up. That's all the hellos. I hope everybody's day is going good. Y'all know I still be trying to keep up on this daggone Diddy trial. Y'all know I can't do a whole lot on the Diddy trial. But someone that worked for him, and again, y'all please forgive me. This is another reason why doing this week is going to be a bit of a problem, is because I just barely got time. Like, I didn't get a chance to listen to the Lincoln Ware show today. I didn't get a chance to watch the news. I glanced at a story, so I don't remember the names, but they were talking about a witness on the stand in the Diddy trial talking about, no, we still cool. I'm sorry. We still cool, Tanika. We still cool. It's over 70 degrees here. We only got problems when it's below 70 degrees here. So we still cool. This ain't your fault. So I can't take it out on you. Now, if we below 70 degrees, I blame you for that. So yeah, we don't be cool. T Mikey G, AKA Zoe, good afternoon. But yeah, somebody was on, y'all making James mad. He said, stop that Brent stuff. He ain't Brent. He say, stop that. I can't say what he said because everybody know I don't cuss. But back to the Diddy trial. There was somebody on the stand whose name I don't remember, who said basically he done threatened her life. He came to her house with a gun and basically told her, if you don't come with me, I'm going to kill you. And they went to Kid Cudi's house. Is that how you say his name? Kid Cudi? Cudi? They went to somebody's house and he told them they was going to kill him. They was going to kill him. And it's just, the prosecution is they are laying out the elements of their case, kind of step by step. And if you're like me and you barely understand what all elements they have to prove what they're proving, not all, many of the experts are saying they're doing a great job of laying out a case for this whole RICO thing. They say that they're doing a good job of showing that he was running some sort of a criminal, criminal whatever. The words just slip my mind because I'm sitting here looking at the chat over here. But he's running a criminal enterprise. So, yeah, he might be in trouble. So, we'll see what happens with that, but it is not looking good. Y'all, President Donald Trump, he is, I think he finally realizes that he can't tell Vladimir Putin what to do. Okay, I think he realized that the whole time. I think he was just talking that nonsense, to seem strong. It worked. It got him elected. Y'all remember, I'll end that war in 24 hours. It's been a lot more than 24 hours. And apparently, allegedly, he talked to Putin not too long ago. And Putin had told him that, yeah, he'll enter peace talks. But I guess they just did some bombing, some drone attacks. And now Donald Trump is saying that Putin is crazy. He's crazy. And he don't know what he's doing. Like, he playing with fire. And he is saying that he might have to put some sanctions on Russia. He's saying, hey, look, he don't know how much trouble he would be in if it wasn't for me. But he won't listen to him. And so, yeah, he's saying that Putin is crazy. But he's also saying Vladimir Zelensky, the Ukrainian president, he shouldn't be doing all that talking. He doing too much talking. He making it hard on himself to be doing all that talking. And I get what he's saying, but at the same time, you can't be big blustery Donald Trump threatening everybody, talking all of this big talk, and then telling other heads of state to be meek. That's not gonna work. That's not gonna work for nobody. So, you don't know. It's Brenda said that's the plan. Putin and Trump are in cahoots. I don't know that they're in cahoots in the way that I think of in cahoots. I think they're in cahoots in the way that I really believe Putin might have something on Trump. That whole thing about what? Trump having prostitutes pee on him or something like that. I'm not saying that happened, but he might have something on him. And so he's only allowed to say what Putin says he can say. I don't know, it's wild. Timothy said, I thought we already had sanctions on Russia. Yeah, but they can always up the sanctions. I don't know exactly what the sanctions are that the Biden administration put on Russia. I know they put some sanctions on Russia. But you can always go harder. And there are a number of, what was it? See, I can't remember these people's names. I need these stories right in front of me. But a few Republican senators and representatives, even higher up Republican senators and everything, I believe even Lindsey Graham is saying, hey, look, it's time we do something about Putin. And when the higher ups in the MAGA movement start saying something, it means something. It don't mean what you would think that it would mean, because that whole MAGA movement is really centered around one guy, and that guy is Donald Trump. And so even if you're trying to put pressure on him, he feels like, no, this is my movement. You can't come into my movement trying to put pressure on me. I'll let you up to a certain line, but then after that, I have to, sit you down. I'll say all it takes is a one of them things on his social media page. All I have to do is throw your name out there and tell people that you are enemy, you're a rhino, and you'll be trying to get back in my good graces. So speaking up means something, but not really that much when the entire movement is centered on one person. Janice says Trump is going to F around and find out messing with Putin. Unfortunately, we'll have to suffer too. Yeah, I really do believe, Janice, he was given the okay to say the stuff that he's saying. I believe that. Because I believe, Timothy, yeah, the P-tapes, maybe not the P-tapes, but something is real. They have something on him. Or he's looking at it from a financial standpoint, and he believes that, there's some financial benefit for him personally in that relationship. And maybe if he finds out, okay, it ain't as much money in this for me personally as I thought, then maybe things will change. Oh, let's see. Oh, hold on. Let me open up the phone lines. I'm sorry. Do that there. Okay, open up the phone lines. So the phone lines are open if you want to call in. Twin says, I agree. Putin has something on Trump, just like that Jeffrey Epstein did. You are so frustrating, Twin. You voted for it. You know what I'm saying? If you think Putin got something on him, why would you vote for somebody for president who you believe that another head of state, especially Russia, has something on him? Why? Why would you make that decision? That doesn't make sense. You're frustrating. I accept, I guess to some degree, I respect the idea that, hey, I believe, you know what I'm saying? He got something on him, some just don't seem right, and that you can come to those conclusions. But that makes it even more frustrating. Because this is not anything new. Like, this whole piece of their, whatever it is, relationship, is not new. Brenda says, that nasty man, I'm sure she means couldn't care less about some old P tape. Trump owes Putin. All right. Daryl says, Putin definitely got the P tape hanging over his head. Trump likes to be peed on. That's why he orange. I don't know if that makes you orange. Cassie wasn't orange. The EU has given the go-ahead for Ukraine to use long-range missiles from them. Okay. Everybody, I don't think most people are not in favor of war. So nobody's sitting back cheering like, yeah, go blow them up. Yay. Everybody, I think, would hope that they would come to some peace talks and that the world would stand behind Ukraine and demand that Russia stop. But that, in all reality, that's not the way the world works. Like, even interpersonal relationships don't always work that way. Like, people aren't, I learned this a long time ago. People don't wholeheartedly back the person. If you got two people going at it, either physically or rhetorically, one person was minding their business, another person decided to start something. People come in and they see it, and they can know that person was minding their own business, and that person just came in and started something out of nowhere. People in general don't side with the person that was minding their own business 100%. As a matter of fact, a lot of times people say to the person who was minding their own business, oh, you went too far when you said that. Oh, you went too far when you did that. People typically don't say to the person who started a thing, you was wrong. You shouldn't have started it. You need to stop, and you need to apologize, and then you need to hope that they accept your apology and stop. So, even on a larger scale, Russia invades Ukraine. People ain't just going, even the world community is not just like, look, here's the bottom line. Russia, pull out of Ukraine and stop. You're wrong. You started it. You're wrong. Leave them alone, or the world is going to sanction you. It's the right thing to do, but it's not the way that people operate. For whatever reason, it's not the way the humans operate. And the people always want, well, okay, y'all stop. And so here's what you need to do, Ukraine, to make it better. And here's what you need to do, Russia, to make it better. And Ukraine's sitting there like, we was just minding our own business. Why we have to do something to make it better? Wait, why do we have to sign over our mineral rights to make this better? Why are you getting, we was minding our own business, and now we getting punched on this side, and we signing over our mineral rights on this side so that y'all will tell him to stop punching us. How is that okay? How is that right? How is that fair? So, yeah, it's crazy. Janice says Trump really doesn't understand all of the parameters surrounding the political dynamics between the U.S. and Russia. That's why Kamala Harris said the dictators will eat him alive. But that's just the way the world works. It's the way we as humans operate. Like, we have to, if there's a dispute, a lot of times people have to assign blame to both sides, even if just a portion. Like, oh, what portion of this is your fault? None. I was sitting there minding my own business, and he came up and socked the S out of me. How was you looking at him? You know what I'm saying? Because you want to be able to say, okay, this was 3% your fault and 97% his fault. So why don't you apologize for looking at him wrong? And then he can stop punching you, and then everybody will go back to normal. Jen says, kind of like how America is doing African Americans, and kind of how America does other countries. How America does other countries. I was sitting and I had a long conversation with a gentleman from a nation in Africa, and I was asking him about his and his people, their perception of America. Asking him about their perception of America. And look, some of this stuff, of course, I already know. Some of this stuff, the images that your regular run-of-the-mill person in Africa and even around the world get about America, about American black people, is that we're lazy and just all this negative stuff. They hear nothing but negative about black people, unless like you're a rapper and then you're rich and all that kind of stuff. Those are the two, like, middle class America, according to this gentleman. If you live in Africa and that's through the media that you consume and how you learn about different things in the world, the messages that they receive about black people, ain't no middle class, ain't no in between. You are like a rich rapper or something, or you just some poor lazy slob who don't want to get up, who don't want to work, who don't want to do anything, who just want to live off the government. And we had a long conversation. So like I said, a lot of that stuff I already knew. But I genuinely didn't know. He says that in, I guess the majority of the African countries or, whatever, they really like Trump. They really like and support Trump. And they're like, man, this guy could run for a third term. What they like about him, which it's interesting, because it's like one of the, I don't want to say I like it about him because I understand it's just words. But when they get up, Republicans get up and say, there are only two genders, male and female. They love that. They love that. When they get up and say marriage is only between a man and a woman, they love that because it plays into their, religious values, their Christian values, their Muslim values. It plays into all of that. And for a lot of them, that's what they, that's they're raised. That's like they're a heavily, I don't want to say heavily religious, but they're a heavily religious cultures over there. In spite of what maybe the Pharaoh might have you believe. Well, no, he understands that. He understands colonization and all of that kind of stuff. So he gets it. He gets that. LaDonna says they don't respect black Americans. That's not necessarily true. Maybe once again, because the messages that they've received, and again, I shared an apartment. We were roommates. When I was probably around 21, 22 for a couple of years with a gentleman from Nigeria. And to a large extent, he and his family were the same. Which is why, when I was talking to the gentleman, I didn't hear a lot that I hadn't heard. But it's not that they don't respect black Americans in the, in the way that it sounds and feels. It's if everything that you've heard about somebody is that they're lazy and shiftless, they don't want to work, they just want to live off the government and this and this and that. And then you come here and you see those people, you have a preconceived notion. But then once you start living in America and experiencing some of the same things that these people have heard about and then experienced their entire life, you begin to see, no, there are a lot of successful black people. They're not all lazy and shiftless and all of that kind of stuff. So they realize that quickly once they get here. And then, it is hard to shake or I would imagine it can be hard to shake preconceived notions that have been built in you for, 21, 25, 35 years. And then you finally come here and you have this perception of these people and you're meeting them and you're like, okay, maybe these people are the exception to the rule. Because when I was growing up, I saw all of this stuff. I heard all of this stuff. So I don't think that they don't respect black Americans. That wasn't what I've ever heard from any of the people that I knew, my friends and different people that I've talked to from Africa. That's not anything that I've ever heard. But they do. They love Trump, apparently. They love Trump because he's playing to that moral thing that they believe. And that's why a lot of them, and a lot of people even here, maybe didn't go out and vote for Kamala Harris. Because the Democrats do tend to, I was watching, yes, Janice, it is propaganda. I agree, it is propaganda. But you don't necessarily know that what you're experiencing is propaganda until you actually figure it out. You don't know it. But one of the things that, they were saying is that a lot of African nations look at the United States as we're the bad guy around the world. A lot of places, we're the bad guy. And we're sitting here, looking at, because I don't know how Gaddafi came up. And we're like, Gaddafi was a good man. And Barack Obama came in and they killed Gaddafi. And a lot of Africans from many African nations respected. He kept calling him Mohammed, but I always thought it was Muammar. But respected Muhammad Gaddafi. And I was like, really? Because I didn't know much about, follow that. A lot of that, the Libyan stuff happened when I was a very young person. All I knew was, like, ain't Gaddafi like a terrorist or a supporter of terrorism? And he began, I don't know, he began sharing stuff, and I was like, yeah, I didn't know that. But he was really like, they have a lot of people, and a lot of African people and a lot of African nations had a lot of respect for Gaddafi, and they did not have a lot of respect for Barack Obama, who had him killed. So, like, we're the bad guy to a lot of people around the world. And they believe that Donald Trump is a good guy. Because again, it's propaganda. Like, you don't know that what you see in is propaganda if you don't know. Vernon says, I'll just say, if I moved to another country and saw one group of people that had all the power and influence and another group that seemed to have none, I'd probably gravitate toward the group with all the power and influence. I think most people would. But I really, again, I'm going to just say all the people from an African nation that I know. They learn pretty quickly. Like, okay, what we heard growing up wasn't true. And it wasn't right. And, now I'm here and I see things. I can kind of see how a Black American kind of ends up like he is, because to some degree I'm becoming that same thing, because initially I think, hey, look, I'm African. I'm not a black American, and I'm different, and they'll perceive me different. And then to some degree, they do perceive me. This is what I have been told by a number of them. To some degree, they do perceive me different. I don't have what they, trying to think of the way that it was phrased to me. But I don't have the baggage that a lot of black Americans have. And so I don't, when I first got here, I didn't go into places looking at and noticing racism. And so I was kind of like, I wish I could remember the wording that was used, but I was kind of more tame. That was the word. I was kind of a more tame black person to them. And they could say, hey, do this. And I would do it because I didn't, and I didn't notice microaggressions and racism and all that kind of stuff. But then as I stayed in this more, and, I come into the company and I notice how I'm treated. And then I see a white guy come into the company and I notice how he's treated. And I notice that we're not treated the same. And I noticed that they want me to do this, but they wouldn't ask him to do that. They want me to train him, but then they give him the promotion over me. And now I'm sitting here and I've trained 4 people and they've all gotten promotions and they don't even want to give me a raise. And we have to have this conversation about me getting a raise or me not training. And then, they're looking at me like, and so now to them, forget that I'm an African. I'm one of those angry black men. Like, I'm not angry. I just want to be treated right. I want to be treated fair. Like, I came in the door with him, treat me like you treat him. And then once I realized that that's not what's happening, I'm like, oh, so this is what those black Americans have been dealing with their entire life. So it's not that they're angry. They just know what to expect and what to look for coming in the door. I don't think it takes them that long to realize that. If it's something that they're open to realize, different people are different. Just because every person from Africa is not the same. Yes, Janice. They don't recognize or understand their own contradictions or blind spots. All they know is what they've heard. But then, they get in there and they begin to experience it. And then they're like, hey, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. And then they think, I'm becoming one of those angry or lazy or, I don't want to do the job type of people. And I think people who are wise begin to see. Let's see. Ken says, Emanuel, I work with Africans and I found that they are solid workers and decent African people, and whites do tend to give them a harder time. Yeah. And again, I believe people will give them a harder time because they think they don't know no better. I mean, it's just like with, some of my Latino brothers and sisters. I'm sorry, Latinx. I don't know if people are still saying that. Some of my Latin brothers and sisters, people give them a hard time because they feel like either they don't know no better or they can't do no better. What you gonna do? Go back to Mexico? You either do what I say or, that's how some people tend to treat people. That's how some people tend to treat people. It's terrible that people do that, but they do. But they do. Vernon says, who should make the first gesture when Africans come to America? Should they seek us out for friendship or should we seek them out for friendship? I don't know either. I think I'm not seeking nobody out for friendship. That might be why I don't have very many friends now. I don't seek out people for friendship. But if I run across somebody and they're friendly, I'll be friendly back. I don't know that anybody should. I really do believe it's just one of those things that you have to learn. It's just one of those things that you have to learn, or that they have to learn when they come here and integrate into American society. It's something that you have to see for yourself. Again, because I'm repeating myself now, because you've been taught this from as long as you can remember, even if nothing else, but by paying attention to the media in your country. This is what you've been taught. And so you have to come here, you have to see it, experience it, and then you realize somebody told me wrong. Somebody done told me wrong. The gentleman was telling me, like, in terms of there's no I'm trying to think of how to say it. We had a really long conversation and it was really cool and everything. But in terms of slavery, they don't really care too much. And saying it that way ain't right. But he was saying, like, in Ghana, he kept calling it the castle. He says, the place where, they would have the slaves and everything before they shipped them out. And he's like, basically that was like right across the street. Like, I saw that place every day and thought nothing of it because I don't connect with that whole slavery thing. And it makes sense. Like, I'm not the descendant of a slave. Like, my people weren't, that's Americans. Like, you guys, when Americans come there, they have this almost spiritual connection to this place because they see this is where my people came from and how they were treated and blah, blah, blah. He's like, but we look at it like that's the building across the street. So, yeah, when they understand, of course, that there's, slavery existed here in America and all of that kind of stuff, but they don't connect to it the way, of course, we do. I'm not doing it justice because, again, it's not anything that we don't know, but it was just stuff that, just in the conversation that we were having that I had never really thought of. I'd never really, even tried to think of it from the perspective of someone born and raised in a country in Africa. And then you come here and we're talking about, as a descendant of a slave, and they like, that's not me. I never went through that. Y'all went through that. Sounds bad, but it wasn't me. Ken says you're spot on. They do not have a connection with slavery. They have told me that, and they do not celebrate our holidays like us. A lot of them are not westernized. Well, I think one of these days I might want to get him on the show just to have this, because he was very open to having the conversation, and, he didn't mind me telling him, like, bro, that sounds like some propaganda. And, he would laugh like, no, it's not propaganda, blah, 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 and all that kind of stuff. So it was a very relaxed environment. I might get him on the show just to, so we can all have that conversation with him. Because I'm sure he wouldn't mind, taking calls. And it was a little eye-opening for me. Anyway, what else is going on in the world? I did not see the American Music Awards last night. I was too busy watching the game. My prediction. my guess is, I'm not predicting, my guess is we're going to see Oklahoma City and Indiana in the finals. Oklahoma City and Indiana in the finals. And I'll be all right with that. They should be some good games. It won't draw probably the numbers of having, New York in there. Because I don't think New York's gonna end up winning that series. We don't know, of course, but I don't think they will. Mary says, our holidays are not ours either. It's European. Well, I mean, for real, all holidays pretty much are made up. You decide what you're going to celebrate. All holidays are made up. So, whatever you choose to incorporate into your life, it's okay. It's okay. Tria says she heard that J-Lo performed They Not Like Us. Did she really? Oh, let's go to the phone. Twin!
What's up, E-Man?
How you doing, sir?
I'm all right.
What's on your mind?
Yeah, that was a good game. It sounded like what you said, the Pacers and OKC. I think they're going to be in the fight.
Hold on. I feel like you're talking. Are you laying down again?
No, I'm outside.
Okay, can you speak up a little bit? Like you talking to me like, you know what I'm saying? Like a lady or something.
No, man, why you do that, man?
It makes me, do you hear how you, hey, twin, what if I talk to you like that? Hey, twin, how you doing, man? What's up with you?
Hey.
What's going on? You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. Talk to me like a man.
Man, I just told you, man. I just woke up, really, to be honest.
Okay. You didn't tell me that. You said you was outside, but.
I said I just woke up, took a shower, then came and got me some air.
You did not say all of that. You did not
I'm telling you now.
Okay.
I was figuring out some numbers to play. And I'm standing on the back of the patio right now. Back porch, whatever you call this thing.
All right. Well, what's on your mind?
About to crash out on you. No,
don't do that.
Keep my composure. No, I ain't gonna do that. But yeah, it was a good game. The way the Knicks shoot too much, man. That's all. I think Indiana and OKC is gonna beat them too. Yeah. I don't think, man, the way Minnesota playing, man, I don't think it's gonna beat them. But I think it's gonna be Indiana and OKC. I think this will be Indiana first time going to the finals, ain't it?
I don't know. Is it?
Because Reggie Miller never took them.
No.
They never got over the horn passing the Knicks or the Bulls back in the day when I was growing up.
I don't know. Hold on. I'll look it up. But go ahead and what else you got?
Yeah, well, that's basically it because you said you ain't going to be here for a week, so I had to chop it up with you so you get loose or whatever. And that Diddy thing, man, that was his assistant was on there today, on the stand today.
Say that one more time.
His assistant.
Yes.
His oldest. Yeah, man, didn't she say Cassie mom had the chance to call the police and she held back?
Hold on a second. Yes, Indiana has been to the finals before.
Who they faced?
I think the Lakers.
Was that during Reggie Miller time or before then?
Yes.
I don't recall that one. What year was that?
2000.
Oh. Well, that was after the Bulls. Oh.
Yes, it was.
Oh, okay.
But I'm sorry, go ahead. You were talking about
to call the police though.
But why? Why would you think that her mother would not call the police?
Did she call the police though?
I doubt it, but why would you think that her mother might not have called the police?
That's your scenario of thinking.
No, for real. Let's just think about this for a moment.
You just said it the other day because in case, her mama might end up missing or something. Just
Right.
like Kid Cudi. I know what you. That's you. That's your thinking. Some people probably think like that. Some people probably don't. Man,
Well, then you tell me
you can't think for.
what reason do you think her mother might not have called the police?
Come on, it reverts to what you saying. Right back to what you saying. Right?
I think so, but you said, well, that's how you think. Some people might not think that way. So I'm asking, how do you think?
Like you just said
Okay.
last week.
So then, wait a
You
minute.
know,
Then I don't understand what was the point you were trying to make by bringing that up?
because you talking about from last week?
No, from today.
No, I was just listening to it and everything. And when I was telling you she had a chance to, go when he went to the store, whatever the case may be, she had a chance to get away. The feds could have moved in real quick if it was a problem. But it wasn't. Listen here, Emanuel.
I'm listening.
I look at it like this. It's all about pimping, man. If that trick don't do what that pimp daddy tell her to do, off with your head. You go boop bop and everything else, and there you go get your family. So the family probably ain't gonna do nothing because you know what? You out there tricking. So why would I step in a pimp environment, establishment to break up what y'all got going on? You choose that life to be a trick out there. So I'm not gonna step in there boundary in his establishment. What he doing?
I think you're contradicting yourself, though.
I'm not contradicting myself about nothing if you look at it, but look, all this is a money grab, man. That's all it is. You don't see no other guys besides Kid Cudi. If everybody that was at that party and freak offs and all that, you're accessory to the crime too, Emanuel. Just like you saw video of him doing all that, why y'all ain't say y'all should be found guilty too? He just shouldn't be just Stevie J, his right hand man, all of them that was at that party with him or them freak offs. This goes way beyond that, man. So he might get on the stand, and hey, if he get on that stand, which he probably not, he might be like Nino Brown. Everybody go get a case. He might tell on everybody, but he probably be loyal to the streets. I should take it on the chin.
Let me be honest. I'm confused about what it is that you're saying.
You remember how Nino Brown got on the stand in New Jack City?
No. I remember that. I know what you're saying when you're talking about that. I'm confused about 1 minute you say it's about pimping. And
that's what it was about. And then
okay.
what? Once the money goes, where my money at, hey, I'm telling. And she got with that white man and everything. He said, baby, I'm tired of this will come up. And so he probably talked, tricked her ass to it because he white, and said, hey, this will come up. And that's what she went. She went to that courthouse, or the lawyers, whoever, the Me Too movement. Hey, give me my 30, 40 million. No, I ain't got it. I'll give you 20 million in 24 hours. He gave that 20 million. He settled so quick, man. That's proving you guilty right there. I would have took it to court, to trial real quick.
That's why I'm confused about what it is that you're saying. Because on one hand, you're saying, Sean Combs is wrong. And then on the other hand, you're saying Sean Combs didn't really do nothing wrong. Cassie them just trying to take his money.
Ain't no wrong with no baby oil. Ain't no wrong being a freak. Now you put your hands on somebody, that's a different story. But you baby oil and being a freak is two different things. Only on one person, whatever. Or whatever. The only thing I see is Cassie at this whole point. You blew up Kid Cudi car. I stay out my business, nigga. Stay out my business before something happened to you. That happened every day. Stay out my business. You ain't got nothing to do with this. Stay out my business. And so, he got caught in his fee-fees puffing. Hey, he had to, blow the man cover if he did. He say he did. But people say he did the way, he got in his feelings. But as I look at it, man, this whole scenario, man, that man, he should go home. I mean, he should do some jail time for, beating the brakes off of her. But other than that, man, this about a freak, man. Ain't nothing but a freak. That's all it's about, man. And then you gotta, if he did something to be Notorious B.I.G. and Tupac and other artists, you have to pay for that. Just like Suge Knight. You paying for what you did to other people. That's just no murder. You killed that dude. You paying for whatever else happened did to people, man.
He really is kind of just paying for the murder. He ran that dude over and killed him. That's why he in jail. He ain't in jail for the other stuff.
It was coming along, though. I'm pretty sure that other guy that's locked up, Keefe G, whatever his name, it's more to it. He probably like, yeah, sure, gave him the money to, set up the murder type. They know what's going on, man. Them white folks know definitely what's going on. They keep other white folks around to see how, to keep wiretaps on you, see what's really going on, how you running. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of white folks that was around Diddy. Hey, he did have a freak off. He did this. He did. They do that. They groom you, man. Just like an NBA player. They groom them. They know what they're. Hey, white girl, go get that. Go get that bag from that nigga. And start have a baby by him and 10 years of divorce. That's how they play the system, man. And then they want to run back to the sisters and stuff. Oh, y'all go, dude. No, you stay over there with that white girl. Okay. I want to play victim and all that. So that's all it is. That's how I look at it. To my, this ain't nothing but, that wasn't nothing but a freak. Oh, he's a nasty dude, and that's it, man. That's all it is.
Okay.
And then British people, millionaires, paying them back. Now, with what I say earlier, I don't know with Trump, man. They're doing something else. I forgot what you said in the comment when I said something.
Oh, yeah, you said you believe that Putin got something on Trump.
Yeah,
and I was
he
saying,
do. I believe he do.
Right, if you believe that the president or whatever of Russia has something over Donald Trump, why would you vote for him for president of the United States?
I've been saying that when he was shaking hands, man, back in 2015.
Right, so why would
Trump
you
was
vote
buddying
for
that
him?
man up.
Why would you vote for him as president if you believe that somebody got something over him?
Why did I vote for any president? I voted for my boy Obama, but hey, things didn't get shaken up in Chicago. You get what you asked for.
No, what you're doing is you're specifically.
Everybody got
What you're doing
everybody
is you're
got flaws, man. Ain't nobody perfect out here.
You're specifically not answering the question that I asked.
Man, I play this like a lottery ticket. I'm going to win, I'm going to lose. I can draw sometimes, but hey, I get what I asked for. That was my interest of punching my ticket to him.
Okay,
it is what it is.
Again,
so I'm not gonna be shameful or biased about it.
The question that I asked.
You said what?
You're intentionally not answering the question that was asked.
You want me to answer the way you want me to give you an answer, but I'm thinking twin way.
If you want to answer,
why would you? Basically, you saying why you voted for a person you know the person like this. I just can't sit up there and say, okay, I voted for him. Okay, it is what it is. I thought it was gonna be like this, man, but it's not.
Okay,
that's my answer.
You didn't say anything.
What part you want?
No, you didn't say anything. Here's what you did. Say I ask, what is 2 plus 2? And the answer that you gave is, well, numbers is numbers. So you got some numbers that equal some stuff, and you got other numbers that equal other stuff. And I mean, you got numbers and you got other numbers, and so that's what it is. It's the numbers. After all of that, we still don't know what 2 plus 2 is.
I will give you the 4.
All right.
I will give you the 4.
So then, but that's not what
I wouldn't just go beat around the bush. I would say it's 4. Why would I keep on trying to keep going off the answer?
Just
keep going off the question.
No, it's fine. You didn't answer the question, but that's fine.
I answer the way you want me to come out with it. That's why you want me to come out with it with a Emanuel answer, but it's not gonna work with me.
No, you didn't answer it. You answered something
trick no good,
totally
trick
different,
no good,
and that's fine. You don't have to answer.
I got what
That's fine.
Because you want me to answer the way Emmanuel want me to answer. It's not going to work with me.
No, you didn't answer. You don't want to answer, and that's fine. I'm telling you, it's fine.
Yeah. That's all. Now you get up there, you go talk smack and everything like you always do. Get your cheerleaders hyped. Like you always do. But it is what it is, Emmanuel. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
I think that's all I got to say. Hey, you say you gone for the whole week, man?
Possibly. I might not make it in the rest
of
this week.
Yes or no, man? Give straight answers. Yes or no?
Look, days are days.
Why you got to beat around the question, man? Yes or no?
Some days are other days, and other days become the days that they wasn't before they was. So, there you go.
I like that. You good, player. You good. No, you be safe on your trip, man. Hope to see you, whenever you get back home or whatever, man.
All right. I hope I get back home, too. I appreciate you, man. All right. All right, that was Twin. his non-question answering self. Yeah, he definitely didn't answer the question. And that's okay. He don't have to answer. And look, we live in a world where you don't have to answer questions that you don't want to answer. CK.
Hey, how you doing, Mr. Livingston? Great show. I was just listening to your phone call with Twin.
All right. How you doing, sir?
Hey, I'm doing good. I had a tremendous weekend. I had barbecue, and I was off this weekend for Memorial Day. First 3 day weekend I had off in over 3 years, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, how was your weekend? How did you enjoy it?
Oh man, my weekend was good. I went to I went to a barbecue. I went to a nice little dinner get together thing. Had wonderful conversations with people, and what more can you ask for?
How was the barbecue? Did you eat ribs and burgers and dogs, or did you skip any one of them? Did you eat all of them?
I
All
don't eat
three?
I don't eat ribs. Um,
Okay.
and I did not actually eat any burgers. I just ate salmon and I ate a hot dog.
Okay, no chicken. No chicken on the menu.
Did I eat any chicken? No, I didn't eat any chicken.
We had coleslaw, baked beans, bone-in rib. I didn't have any chicken. You're right. I went to two barbecues and missed the chicken on both occasions.
Okay.
But I lived in Georgia. I want to know if you're familiar with this culture. We make slaw dogs. We turn the hot dog into a slaw dog. Are you familiar?
I think so. I think I'm familiar with it. I don't eat coleslaw, but I think I'm familiar with it. Well, hold on. Let me take that back. I eat KFC's coleslaw. That's about the only coleslaw I've ever tasted that I like.
Huh?
But yeah.
And how did they break you like that? How did they? Because you wasn't a coleslaw eater until KFC. How did they get into your? What happened
Well, no,
to make you even try
I
it?
tasted KFC coleslaw when I was a little kid, and it was okay. And so that's really always been the coleslaw that I will eat. But I'm not a coleslaw guy.
Man, and after the barbecue, after I left the barbecue event, I picked up a young lady with her two sons, and we had a nice, extravagant poverty date, like evening date.
Had a what?
Just picked them up off the bar.
A what?
Poverty date. Poverty.
Property date?
Poverty. Poverty.
Oh, what's a poverty date? I'm sorry, I had to ask.
Well, me being a man of limited funds, we had to go like for 4 for 4s, McDonald's. We went to McDonald's and Skylines, and she treated, but I felt kind of low. I wanted to treat. I offered, but she said, "I got this."
Now, is this
Proud black woman.
is this the girl who was pregnant and she done had the baby now?
No. She's still healing up right now. She's got about 2 weeks left. We might speed it up a week. But yeah, she had a baby girl. Mm-hmm.
But this is
Yeah, baby girl.
a different person with children.
Yeah, I just met her on the bus stop. Luckily, her phone was out of out of energy, no juice on her phone, so she couldn't call somebody for a ride. And it was just like old times. I rolled up on her, like 83, like we used to do back in the day.
Okay.
I said, "Yep."
And because
She
you
got him.
you were in a car this time, like she was impressed.
Yeah, man, I've been driving for a couple months now.
Well, no, I'm
Mhm.
just saying. You said you met her on the bus, so y'all was both on the bus. So then, if you a bus,
No, she was in the. No, sir. I left my. Listen, sir. Your mind is corrupted. Let me put it. As I left my auntie's barbecue, as I'm driving home, I see a young lady with a child. As I'm making a U-turn and fantasizing, I see she has 2 children. So the car was already in place, sir. Yes.
So
It
then
was
you
not
met
me.
her.
I met her at the bus stop. And I
you
just
met her-
drove past her while she was sitting at the bus stop.
Okay, look, we need to come to an understanding about certain things about the English language, because when you say to me, "I met this young lady on the bus," I think
At the
that
bus
means
stop. No,
not,
your mind makes up words. I said I met her at the bus stop.
I'm pretty sure you said you met her on the bus.
No, you always do that. No, you do that. I'm just saying, this time you need to take the L. I said I met her at the bus stop. This is your mind. See, you are what you call a liar. So you always think everybody is lying to you.
No.
This is your word. Just like you just lied to me because I didn't say. I said I met her at the bus stop. I know what I said because I'm telling you what happened. I'm living the truth. So it's easy.
Hold on, CK. Hold on. Just because I could be wrong. Was I the only one? And I'm asking the listeners to correct me. Was I the only one who heard him say he met her on the bus? I thought I heard him say they met on the bus.
What the comments say?
Well, there's a little bit of a delay, so there'll be a delay. Someone say he did say on the bus. Some people just saying damn.
Okay. Well, nevertheless, I met her at the bus. Like I said, I'm driving. I've been driving. I told you about that. It ain't like about life story like I just told you Friday. Oh, I was on the bus Friday. No, I've been told you I've been driving. You got to keep up with the life story. See, I know people way better than they know me. That's why I'm superior to most people. Most people are faking the funk. That's why I can get on here and talk about myself. Everybody else, when they talk about themselves, they are, I stole a cookie. No, I can tell you the worst things about myself. You don't have the ability to do that because the worst things about yourself, you're ashamed to share with people. That's what makes me superior, see?
Okay. I don't
see.
Okay. But anyway, you had a good weekend. That's the bottom line.
Man, it was good.
Hold on. Are you eating?
Did you watch any good?
Wait, are you eating?
I had to, my bad. I had to. I ain't had none left. My bad. No, I ain't eating no more.
Okay.
Listen. You reading the comments. See, that's what be wrong. I think when you talk to me, you don't listen. You read the comments. That's why you be thinking I'm saying something.
I can hear. I just heard you were in the middle of talking. Sound like taking a bite while talking. I don't have to read no comments to hear.
Oh, okay. You say that's not the case?
I don't even know what we're talking about now.
So you think when you say I'm a character, what is that? You always said I'm a character. I was like, why does he say I'm a character when I never said I was a character? You just assumed I was a character?
No, I am assuming that the real CK, like you're playing a character on the radio. Like, how some people exaggerate certain facets of their personality because like I believe Twin plays a bit of a character too. Twin plays a gangster on the radio. And not that I believe that may be a certain, small facet of who he was or whatever, but he go full all-out gangster on the radio. But then I've met Twin, and he was just a good, nice guy. But on radio, he a gangster, So
right.
I believe.
What about yourself?
I believe you play. Oh, how do you say it? Because you play a slightly mentally challenged person on the radio, but I don't believe that you are even a little bit mentally challenged. I believe that's just a character that you play on the radio.
Oh, so what about yourself? Do you play a character? Do you play a king of talk?
No, I am the king of talk. What you see is what you get. If you meet me in person, usually I'm going to just be sitting over in the corner paying attention to people. But if you come and sit down and have a conversation with me, this is the way the conversation going to go.
And there we have what's wrong with America. You could point out everything wrong with everyone else. But when it comes to you, oh, no, I'm me. But everyone else you talk to, no, they're a character. No. You are projecting your character onto me and Twin. Tell the world that.
No,
but you can't because then you would be breaking your undercover.
I don't know that you are playing a character for certain. I'm just saying I feel like you are. I feel like you're exaggerating portions of your life and or personality.
So how do you feel when
Maybe
I
you're
try to
not.
keep the kids
Maybe you're not.
and,
But it's just how I feel. That's it. It's
and
just how I feel.
so my plight, we both are all brothers from of the same struggle trying to stop the violence. Would you agree? We both trying to stop the violence. You and
Sure.
I.
Sure, yes.
And so that's what I'm saying. That's not a character. So this was real bloodshed. This is not a freaking movie. This is real people dying. That's what I want you to understand. It's not a character, sir. We're talking about human lives.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And you know how you always say, I hate when people sing when they talk. You remember you said that back in '94?
I said what?
You said, I hate when people sing when they talk.
No, I don't remember saying that.
Yep. Hell yeah, I appreciate you, man. But yeah, just keep on doing what you're doing, like with your education foundation that you built. Keep that going good, because how many kids did you get through college so far?
Just one.
That's more than me. I ain't even had one. You hear me? I ain't even had one. So you 1 for 1. You betting 1,000.
Well, you might have
When
a
they're getting
lot.
kids
You know, all of the women that you date with kids, don't you kind of take on a fatherly role with them?
Oh yeah, I do have those people. Yes, you're right. But I'm talking about the DNA. You got a DNA college scholarship baby out there that's from your seed.
What? No, she didn't get a scholarship.
See what I'm saying? But she graduated. Now, nonetheless.
Okay.
As long as she graduated from college, because that ain't easy. That means preschool, grade school, junior high, and college. Very difficult, sir. I didn't make it past. I made it through preschool, but the elementary part is difficult. Once you get the fractions and algebra, calculus, I'm done, Livingston. I'm absolutely done. I can handle addition. I can handle subtraction. And, but once it gets to that pre-algebra set, oh, my God. You might as well pull out a gun on me because I'm running.
All right.
Do you understand me, sir?
Yes.
much love to the family. I'm going to continue to pray for every person in your family, sir. Remember that.
And
I'm
I
going
will
to
do the same for you.
Pray. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right.
Thank you. All right.
All right. That was CK. Yeah. That was CK. Promise you, I do still. Hold on. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, y'all. Okay. All right. Okay. I'm sorry. I got a little distracted. That's CK, and I respect CK. I will pray for him. What else is going on? What else is going on out here in these streets? Okay. It looked like I'm gonna have to get out of here in just a minute. Anybody got anything else? Anybody got anything else that they wanted to discuss? Anything? Emanuel introduced Twin. Twin and CK was already Y'all were already familiar with Twin and CK even before I got fired from the radio station. So, uh, yeah, that's all I got. Is that was CK. That was CK. Um, yeah, I don't really have anything else. Plus, I'm distracted by these emails coming through pretty hot and heavy. I don't know why I keep saying hot and heavy. I'm a little distracted by the emails coming through. So again, let me say, you may or may not see me tomorrow on the air. I may or may not be here. I intend on being here. I would say it's probably 70-30 that I will be here on Wednesday and Thursday. It's probably maybe 40-60 that I'll be here on Friday. Brent.
Hey, what's going on, E-Man?
Hey, how you doing, sir?
I'm all right. Oh, this piano's not working. Oh, yeah, you're talking about and you know what? I need to change my voice or my speaking cadence so folks will stop thinking that James and I are the same person. But no, he's the one that needs to change. I called first, so. But when you're talking with you said you had an African roommate, Nigerian.
Yes.
Yeah, and I have some that are. We have family friends that are from Nigeria, and even friends from the Caribbean, from the Bahamas and Haiti, and it's different for them and how they perceive what Black folks have done and are currently going through in the United States. Now, this is, I'm not painting everyone with a broad brush. Is just in speaking in generalities. Mm-hmm. Is that with a lot of them, especially in Africa and the African countries, the white folks have come over there as missionaries, helping them build, villages and wells and things like that. So it's almost like they see them as the savior coming in there and helping them out there. And then they bring, white evangelical Jesus, and they do hammer on, family, man and a woman, and they hammer that into them so much so that just, goodness, causes them to forget everything else that's going on. They don't care about anything else, and they just say, well, God will work everything else out. But, marriage is between a man and a woman, and that's like a lot of those, well, not a lot of them, but is it Ghana? Is that the country that has essentially the death penalty if you're gay, or some harsh sentencing?
I'm not sure if they have the death penalty, but one of the gentlemen that I was talking to over the weekend was from Ghana, and he shared there's a bill now going through their legislature where, if I understood him correctly, like if a gay couple, for example, like say I own a facility, we rent out our facility for events, and a gay couple wants to come and have, some sort of a party reception or something like that at my event center, and I rent it to them, and they get caught having a gay event, I can get 10 years in prison for renting my center to them and allowing them to have a gay event.
Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of those laws they're getting from right-wing or, white Jesus Christian groups here in the United States, because they are so tied into the evangelical church, that a lot of them are that, even from the church I used to attend, they've sent missionaries to Africa, to South Africa, and goodness, I want to say they're also in Nigeria, out in the country where they're trying to, help guide their perception of Christianity and what they're teaching, because they do a lot of mixing between local customs and, what the white folks have told them, and really don't understand the Bible, because they're, limited in they essentially mimicking what other people have done, and that's why you see a lot of these videos to where we act a fool over here, but a lot of the videos from a religious standpoint where you got the pastor walking on folks and just craziness of like, oh my goodness, and it's sad in a lot of respects. So they're a couple of folks I know, they're doing some good work over there, and they come back every year to help raise funds so they can go back and train some more pastors, train some more people that are training pastors, and that level of commitment that they had where they sold everything and moved, man, that's respect. But I don't think I can do that to give up everything that I know from what I know now. But yeah, so it just including when it comes to issues with George Floyd and things like that, they and once again, speaking in generalities, they don't have that connection of what happened or really understand what happened during the civil rights movement and things like that, because it's definitely not being taught in the schools.
Right.
And especially if they go to a Christian, white Christian school, they're not learning it. So they're sitting there left with that huge piece of information where they don't understand. They don't know what they don't know. And if they know, a lot of white folks, if they see that you're not black, they're going to treat you better. Whether it's, implicitly or explicitly, they're going to, it's so ingrained in them that, we got to keep the black folks down. When anybody looks like them, okay, you're black when we pull you over, but, oh, well, you're Nigerian, you speak with an accent, they may treat you a little bit differently. So, and they know that.
And it was kind of wild. One of the things that, he brought up was about the whole civil rights struggle, and, they weren't all that aware of the civil rights struggle. He said, but we knew who Martin Luther King was. I mean, he came to Ghana and he spoke and, said some powerful things. So we were aware of who Martin Luther King was, but we weren't fully aware of the fight for civil rights because, again, the propaganda that we were getting was just black people are lazy. And so I guess they kind of looked at Martin Luther King as, kind of, he's a good guy and he wants peace and all that kind of stuff, but they didn't really tie it to he's having a hell of a time over there in America or the United States because they, they don't have equal rights.
Yeah, they were talking about white folks, the white American education system. So that's all you're gonna know about Martin Luther King Jr. I have a green speech. They probably said that before. Not the content of your character, not the color of your skin, but the content of your character. They know that part, but they don't. They don't know what happened before that, where he said America has written a check that's insufficient funds.
Right. Why was he in a position to be advocating for judging people on the content of their character, not the color of his skin? Like they didn't teach that deep into it.
Yeah, and probably the folks that was that could have taught it didn't know it either. So it's one of those cycles that we just have to break, and unfortunately we can only force the American education system to teach our people, but so much. And that's where we have to step up. We have to do a better job with teaching our children and nieces and nephews and learning ourselves. Because there's a lot of things that I don't know that I'm learning, like with Fannie Lou Hamer. She had something called Freedom Farms, to where, goodness, she had, I think I may be getting it wrong a little bit, but essentially they had like a pig bank, to where you can go, if you were a family, you can go get a sow that was pregnant and you take care of that sow and everything, and you raise those piglets, and then the only thing they require of you is to give that sow back, and then you can take those piglets and send it over to, the next neighbor. So it was like, what Ujima, Collective Works. So she had that going on well until, I want to say like 75, but unfortunately I haven't found the backstory. But it wound up, that whole organization wound up getting sold back to the creditors, so they were in debt. So something happened there. I need to do a little bit more digging. But with the farms, farms and farming, her biggest goal besides, getting civil rights and getting voting rights for black people was to make sure that poor people were fed. With her growing up a sharecropper, she did not, she saw babies malnourished, which it just seems crazy. You're a sharecropper. You're on a farm. You can't spare any of the food that you're giving to the landowner for that. But in knowing that, they were constantly in perpetual debt. That's how the system was designed, to where it was actually even better than, well, not better than slavery, but it was just as invasive as slavery, because it kept you tied to that land and that property. But so that I've dealt with some pastors who grew up in the evangelical church when it came with situations we had here, and just how they would talk about the situation or dismiss it. It was like, really? So you're really not going to discuss this? Or you're really just going to say, well, God's going to fix it? Like, okay. So, those pastors and preachers are like, yeah, you just stand over there. You stick to the word, but you just have to understand that the black church was once, and there still some are, that were a pillar of the community, and they were about justice, not only teaching about Jesus Christ, but about justice for black people and educating black people and feeding black people. But yeah, but a couple other things. Do you have a load of future shirts that you can make up with the afternoon experiment?
Do I have a load of what?
Fuchsia shirts.
Fuchsia?
Lincoln called them fuchsia. Them pink shirts that he got for the walking club.
Oh.
You need to rerun those pink shirts you have for the afternoon experiment and show up to the walking club.
Well, no, he has someone who he has makes his shirts for him. Why? Mm-hmm. Why would I be making pink shirts?
Because you're petty. And I could see you doing something like that. Oh, man.
Well, yeah,
but
I could get some, but I don't think I will.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But quickly on the wrestling report. Goodness, there's a lot of wrestling this weekend. Yes, Saturday night's main event. You had 4 matches. John Cena beat, what's his name? R-Truth in the main event, which is 4 matches, and they probably were charging upwards of $300 to $400 for tickets, which is just insane. For those premium seats for 4 matches is crazy. But they had what was his name? Jesse the Body Ventura was on commentary for the cage match.
Yes, he was.
And Jesse was great. He still has it with his comments that he was making, that were just like he was, back there in the day with him and Gorilla Monsoon making. But it was so funny that he was, when Damian Priest walked out the ring and everything, was like, what is he doing? He shouldn't be able to do that. What's going on?
Yeah, he did not like him walking out. He thought he should have climbed over the top.
Yeah. But that was. Hopefully he'll continue to do those, and because the first couple of times he did it, he didn't know the wrestlers, didn't understand the storyline, so it was a little bit disjointed. But he knew more of this one. But he said the right thing for each moment in there, and he plays a great heel color man, which is. It's a lost art form.
Yes.
That unfortunately I don't have. But let's see. Trick Williams, NXT, he won the TNA World Title. Because they got WWE has a deal with TNA and AAA. So I didn't see that match. My sons had to tell me about that. So you got a black heavyweight champion there. Let's see. Switching over to AEW, they had, what do they call it? Arena Anarchy. It was essentially a no disqualification match. Went all over 4 or 5-man teams. But Swerve Strickland, he used to be in WWE. They brought out the staple gun again. And this time the lady pulled out his tongue and put a staple in his tongue. Ooh. Well, I didn't see the staple, but you could hear the click and everything. Hopefully they cut the thing short so it's not. They just get crazy with the staple gun. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. But, they would cut each other up pretty good. And last thing, Big Bronson Reed is now a part of. Did they give Seth Rollins' group a name?
No, I don't think they've given it a name.
Needs a name. with him, Paul Heyman, Braun Breaker, which is Scott Steiner's little boy, and who was the other one I'm missing? That's it. No, it's just three of them right now,
Yeah.
right? Okay. They need a name, and they need a woman in there. And since they won't put Naomi in the bloodline, they might as well go ahead and scoop her up and move her over to Raw, so they have a woman in their faction too.
I thought Naomi was talking about retiring because she wanted her and whichever one she married to, talking about having a baby.
Okay, yeah, that's the fat Uso, Jimmy Uso.
Yes.
So yeah, okay.
Big
Well,
Jimmy.
hey, if she does, respect. Ain't mad at her because them ovaries they've got time limits and expiration dates, so totally understand that. But that's all. I didn't have much on the wrestling front. I've been watching NBA games too, so I missed quite a bit of it. And hopefully, I agree, it should be Indiana and the Thunder, but that's definitely not what the NBA wants.
No, it's not.
So, but it'll be a good matchup. And if Indiana needs to hit more than 5 3-pointers, they could have won that game the other night.
They could.
Now they're going to take a little bit longer for them to win. But I think they'll still close it out because they only got one guy on the Knicks team, and that is Brunson. You can't trust 7 foot worth of sorriness when it comes to Cat Williams because he'll show up and then he'll mope. And so you can't trust any of the rest of them dudes on there. So,
we'll see. But I think Indiana's gonna come out with it.
Yep.
All right.
All right. Hey, well, you have a good one, and if you safe travels down to North Carolina, South Carolina,
Baltimore.
Oh, Maryland. Safe travels down there. Get you some clam chowder. I think they do clam chowder down there. Yeah. But enjoy the food down there, and don't go to where they shop the Corner and the Wire. Don't go to any of them places. They are not.
I might have to go check them out. No, I'll be busy the whole time I'm there. I will not see any of Baltimore while I'm there.
Yeah, with Stringer Bell, you don't want to wind up like him.
Don't want to wind up like him.
Yeah. But, all right, hey, you take it easy and safe travels if we don't talk.
All right.
All right.
All right. That was Brent. Y'all, I got to get out of here. I know y'all noticed I was answering emails. I got to get out of here. I got some stuff that I have to do. I want everybody to enjoy yourself. Stay warm because, again, it's cold and at least it was misty out there. So enjoy yourself. Stay warm. And as always, hold on. I got to get ready over here. As always, be the reason that somebody smiles today. Till next time, I'm out, y'all. Peace.